And now, another You Can't Comp This episode highlight.
Alrighty, card porn lawsuit. I think this is a really good one to have a bit of a chat about because
Look, I started reading and then I went, this is a lot of reading. So,
look, I think to summarize it, the first things first is I would say that if you don't want to hear our breakdown of this, just skip forward a couple of minutes and listen to the breakdown that the guys did from Sports Card Nonsense because you know what Mike is like. You know, he's very entertaining, he's very engaging. He had some, pretty interesting things to say about this. But basically, what it's about is it's somebody who's trying to sell a LeBron James card, and the crux of it is whether they did it or the person that they bought it from before. The patch has been swapped out, and basically, there's enough evidence being supplied that, with the serial numbering, with the photographs that's available, I don't think that card porn, is lying about this. But basically, what the lawsuit is around is because once it was identified as being a switched patch, then the sale listing got pulled down, and they're basically saying because of you've now cost us, $6 million. So that's what the lawsuit's about. I'm actually not surprised that this has happened because I think card porn are very vocal. They are very. It's almost like scammers pages because I know that a couple of scammers pages in the States have actually had lawsuits brought against them because of essentially, defamation. And I think it's the same thing, but it's a little bit different. I can understand how this could, end up, being in that way.
yeah.
The really interesting thing for me in terms of, litigation is they actually can't identify who owns the card porn
Page.
Yeah. So
Wow, this is we've talked about this previously though.
yeah, who they
like
are and
they're
that. And look,
reputable, they're this, that, and the other. Now it's like we can't even find them to sue them.
well, people in the card collecting community who are in the know who they are, but they've kept their identity secret. So I think that's something else. Like can you make people talk? And
Reward offered for anybody. This is going to be interesting. This is.
Look, my gut feeling is this is not going to go very far at all because, first of all, if they can't identify them, but also, too, how much money are these people, willing to spend on a court case that might not, go anywhere? But I suppose also, too, from card porn's perspective, I don't know who they are. I'm only speculating. I think it's someone to do with PSA, personally.
It could be interesting.
How deep are their pockets, to sort of outlast this lawsuit? I don't know. What's your thoughts on all this, Ad?
It's twofold. It's it gets a bit crazy, but I'm a fan of justice. I appreciate what card porn do.
Yeah.
Right? But if some of their things are false, misleading, and lead to this happening, like the devalue, basically saying the card's fake, inauthentic, devalues the card, they've got to be held accountable for their statement, right? For us, I made a comment about Zions and Jordans, and we had to come on the following week and say, sorry, fact check, we got it wrong.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, there's a level of responsibility that if you're spewing things into the abyss we call the internet, there's got to be a level of accountability. It is defamation in a sense. They've defamed the card and its value. Like they've decreased the card's value by doing it if the allegations are true, are false. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like the lack of accountability.
So you're saying that if what card porn is saying is incorrect, it's defamation?
Yeah.
So by using that same thought process, are you saying that if what they're saying is correct, it is not?
Well, it's not. It's actually, yeah. But there needs to be accountability and traceability between the accusation.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. We can't get on the show and say that Suggs, the shoelaces card. Imagine you're going, that's not real, that's a fake. Latent breaks have been doctoring cards and producing fake crap. Like, just make a baseless accusation. without
Yeah, sure.
any recourse.
Yeah, so I suppose what's a little bit different here, though, is I think they've actually gone to a lot of effort to present,
Mm,
the photographs and the scans of the card when it was originally
mm.
produced, and then when the card appearance changed. So,
They
I mean,
being
this,
card porn.
yeah, the
So
serial,
the
the
problem
serial.
is, if it's genuine, then tell the world who you are, card porn.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah, you
that's
can't hide
that's what you want.
behind. Yeah, you can't hide behind. I've got a. It could be one of Kevin Durant's burner accounts for all we know, right? And he's just trying to mess with LeBron.
Yeah,
You know what? But the fact that we don't know the identity of the person making the accusation,
yeah,
I think is it shows how dangerous the internet can be,
yeah, yeah,
and how harmful accusations can be.
yeah,
I mean, whether they're founded, unfounded, they have to be, even if they're based in fact, people should have the opportunity to face their accuser. And card
Okay.
porn is hiding behind the name, a social media account.
Okay, so hypothetically, if card porn did reveal their identity, how would you feel about this lawsuit then?
I'd be interested to follow how the lawsuit against that individual was going.
Okay, sure.
Because then you'd know who they work for. You would know the reasons for their research, whether it's just genuine investigative journalism, or if they've got a vendetta against a grading company, or if, do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
sure.
it creates another narrative if you got the identity of the person making the accusation.
Yeah, sure.
Like if you put PSA in the toilet, for argument's sake, by finding that PSA have actually been fraudulently giving out tens, but then you find out it was a BGS employee, where's the credibility? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know if I explained it, if I've gone on too much of a tirade about that, but I just think, yeah, there needs to be, you can't hide behind a false name.
Sure. No, that's fine. Look, I think it's a slightly different issue to like what's being discussed here, but at the same time, it's still very much part of the, that conversation.
Yeah.
And
while we're on that, we need to come up with a name where we can just slag people and just make a fake account and just get followers on that. And it's really
so, well, it's okay. So now that you've brought that up, it's really interesting because for a while I actually had stopped going on to check for their content.
Yep.
Because I think for a while, I'm not sure. Just for me, the vibe wasn't awesome. Whereas I feel like the last 3 to 6 months, actually, it's been a little bit more upbeat, and I feel like they've made a very concentrated effort to make them sort of more feel-good posts plus educational posts. And I think, for me, this particular incident actually fits into educational. So the other one that I want to touch on too, now that we are talking about card porn, is they recently put one up about a fake Jordan, and I think that for me, this is important because we were talking about the fake Jordans with the star cards.
Yes.
And you don't know what you don't know. And I think that the people in card porn have a very deep and much longer running knowledge base than, that I can even tap into it in a tiny percentage. So for me, I think that part of it, is important. And the other thing I was thinking about too is, can you imagine sort of living in a world without card porn? Because I think that they've done, in the aggregate, I think they've done a lot of good for the hobby, helping educate people. And have they done it in a somewhat flamboyant and maybe sometimes confrontational way? Yes, absolutely they have.
Look, they got a big following with their clickbaity style, right?
Totally, yeah. But if you sort of look beyond that and you
read
what they're presenting,
sure.
Yeah, they also do some very good investigative work, and I think you have to give them some kudos for that. So that's probably where I sit with all of this.
I don't disagree that there is good in the hobby that comes from it. The thing I will put out there for all those lovely conspiracy theorists,
I love a good conspiracy. Hit me.
Card porn's not one person.
You don't think so?
Nope, not at all. One person is not doing all that research. I think card porn is a group of a dedicated group, which is why their identity is being protected.
To answer that specifically, if you go into, say, the Blowout forums, there's a lot of people working together to identify information, so they could tap into those forums, and bring it forward.
It's true.
I would probably feel a little bit differently about that. I actually think it's one person because.
Okay.
Look.
I'm just saying that there's a chance that it's multiple people.
Yeah, look, you're right. It probably could be.
Makes it
I'm
juicy.
guessing. I'm just because I've never.
Well, when we start our version of card porn, it'll be 2 people doing it, right?
But I've never heard, because the people that do know, I've never heard them say it is a group. I've always heard them say it's like they know who it is.
Here is the way that you can get in touch with Russell and myself and be a bigger part of the show. Now, if you follow the link tree to our Facebook group, that is where Russell and I put our mailbags up, our card versus card, our player versus player, our buy, hold, sell questions. All of those will go up on socials, on IG as well, using the handle @YouCan'tCompThis. Now, if you do have a more tailored question, feel free to PM us on Instagram. You can reach out in our Facebook group, and we'll be happy to respond and see if it's something that we can add to the show. Once again, thank you so much for watching. We really appreciate the support and love creating this content for our loyal listeners. If you haven't done so already, we'd really appreciate it if you hit that subscribe button and click the bell for notifications. So hopefully we see you when we go live. Thanks for watching.